I took a walk around the world to ease my troubled mind. I left my body lying somewhere in the sands of time, but I watched the world flow to the dark side of the moon. I feel there's nothing I can do. Yeah. I watched the world flow to the dark side of the moon. After all, I knew it had to be something to do with you. I really don't mind what happens now and then, as long as you'll be my friend in the end. If I go crazy, then will you still call me Superman? If I'm alive and well, will you be there holding my hand? I'll keep you by my side with my superhuman, my kryptonite. Yeah. Welcome to Sometime Laying with Jessica Seeley. My best talent is I remember all song lyrics. Like, I could hear a song one time and then just know all the lyrics to it. But I have heard that song more than one time. Especially, seems to be a karaoke choice. I did see Superman this week. Loved it. And I want to bring back those shirts. Remember those cool Superman shirts in the 90s? Those were cute, right? And it's like, it was just like the little Superman logo, and it'd be like on your boobs. My boobs were higher then. I was only like 13. I took a quiz for a bra company that was like, find your perfect bra size. And it had like pictures next to like what kind of shape of boob you have for the bra. And the picture that looked most like what I have now, they were called relaxed. So I have the relaxed style boob these days. God, glad someone's relaxed around here, right? My butthole definitely is not relaxed. My butthole is so mad that I went to the ER. Well, my partner kind of pushed me to go to the ER because he was worried. It's not a hemorrhoid. I don't know what it is. The doctor very nervously stuck his finger in there. And anyway, he didn't find anything. We don't know what's going on. I have a GI appointment coming up. I'll keep you guys updated on my bunghole. I wasn't nervous to have someone look at my bunghole, but he seemed like really nervous. He seemed like he didn't want to do it. I wish that maybe it was his first time. Anywho, I'm okay. I'm sure I'm fine. I think that like part of aging too is just like, I am for the first time in like a lot of pain, and it's just like, am I dying? And it's like, nope, that's how it is now. You're probably squeezing your butthole insanely tight because of the militarization of your city and the fucking catastrophe that's happening with the climate, drowning girls, and like listening to the way people talk about devastation and watching children starve to death. I should have told that to the doctor. That could be related, but we'll see. I might have to do a colonoscopy. What were we talking about? Oh, Superman, kryptonite. Yeah, I loved it, you guys. Okay, yeah, okay, go to the movies. It's freaking summertime. What are you guys doing not going to the movies? Go to the movies. It's so nice. Superman, I just was in the theater and I was like, now that's a movie. It's just a fun summer movie. I loved it. I felt like it was dorky in the comic book way that it should be. And you know what I realized? I'm a DC girl. I'm not a Marvel girl. I love the Batman and the Superman. And I just think they're... I mean, Superman, what a dorky. It's so dorky. The whole thing, he's like an alien and but he's strong, but he's also smart, and he wears glasses, and so you might not notice him because he's so... Anyway, it was just so great. I really liked the romance with Lois Lane. And then, there was this aspect of like kind of relevancy that the villain Lex Luthor is sort of this tech CEO type evil guy. Feels relevant. But everyone, keeps saying that, they're trying to ban it because it's too woke, I guess. But I saw it, and it's like, you could make an argument that these fake countries are Israel and Gaza, or Palestine. Like, you could be like, that's what they're trying to say. But if you took that conclusion, that's saying something about what Israel is doing. Because they don't say that. They don't say... and it honestly could be a lot of different conflicts. It's basically just like an empire going against much defenseless nation full of children that for whatever resources. Anyway, I did cry in the movie because it was like, God, what a fantasy this is, to have the heroes show up and stand on the right side, and every life is saved. All life is sacred. Superman even saves a squirrel. And I was like sad that I was like, this is like, it's too bad that this is a fantasy. I so want this to be real. I want something to happen that swoops in and saves the innocents. But I will say that I got kind of a high from the movie as well, in this way that, like, I do think it's good for us to engage in fantasy. And I think it's positive to even just imagine different outcomes and just, like, feel powerful for a minute, even if it's fake. Like, just get that in your head. Just have a fantasy in your head and just live in a world where we protect innocence. I think that's possible. Let's have all of our collective brains do that. I liked this. I was just randomly reminded of this Louis C.K. joke. R.I.P. Louis C.K. By the way, I heard that he's like touring with like a bunch of young, kind of hot female comedians, and it's just like, can he just have men his own age open for him? Does that have to be? I don't know. I worry about these girls, but he's probably making it a point of it. Like, see, I can have young women open for me and they'll be safe and they'll say good things. I don't even know. But he had this joke that was so funny back in the day, the before times, where he was talking about how much he hated someone or something. And he was like, I hope you fall from a plane and then Superman catches you and then drops you from higher. I just thought that was... I always remembered that because that really made me laugh. I don't even totally remember the context of it. Another good movie that is about to come out, that will already be out by the time this podcast is out, that I had the luxury of previewing, actually before it was finished, but now it's finished, is The Naked Gun with Liam Neeson and Pam Anderson. So funny. I truly am like, this is going to be the funniest comedy movie that I've seen come out in kind of a while, just like straight comedy. And it also has like a little tech villain and a lot of relevant things. It is coming out of Paramount, which is like, as we know, like a little bit complicated right now. Not great. Some people are calling to ban Paramount because of what happened to Stephen Colbert. And I don't know, I'm kind of like still support the things that Paramount has made that are good. Like, we don't want to be punishing. We don't want to just bring down a ton of good stuff. I mean, you've still got The Daily Show on there. You've got, I guess, I did watch that South Park episode that everyone's been talking about where Trump is sleeping with the devil and he has a tiny penis. I think that's a really good thing to do. And It's just funny that the timeline that South Park has played in my life, that they were just, it was just like this show that some kids were quoting at school every single day. And just like, what the fuck, mom? Or I don't know, I can't. Okay, that's my Cartman. And now they're like this thing that's come out with like the most egregious, like just fuck you to Donald Trump, just like attacking him on the most like base level of just like, try to control this, like, we're not gonna listen to you. That is cool. So anyway, go see the movies. Watch The Daily Show too. The Daily Show's been so good. I also randomly met like the woman who played this isn't going to be interesting, but the woman who like did the voice of Cartman's mom, she like came to my college town of Bellingham, and I used to be like an events coordinator in college, and I hired her to do some talk or something, and she was just like, oh, like she was like trying to get out of LA, and she knew that Ryan Stiles owned a theater here, so she was just like trying to use me to like network her way out of the town. But I always wanted like people that I brought to like help, like, oh, I want a career. Can you talk to me about like what's but she's just like, get me out of here. Kind of random memory. Bet she had a good one-woman show. I told you that wasn't going to be interesting. The only other thing is just like, speaking of fantasy, I guess, I did this show called Obsessed, and I talked about Tolkien, obviously, Lord of the Rings, but my presentation turned into why does J.D. Vance love all the things that I love and ruin it. He was at Disneyland recently. It's like watching him walk through my childhood home. But he said that Tolkien shaped his conservative worldview, and I'm just like, we're reading this like so differently. Because to me, the main theme in Lord of the Rings is not like, oh, some people are good and some people are evil, and good people should be dominant over evil people. The thing that's evil is a desire for power and control, that nobody can wield power. That's the whole deal with the ring. You don't want to hold it. You think you can use it for good. You can't. It's freaking power. It's not to be used. So just like freaking eat potatoes. You know what I mean? So that was kind of a fun little presentation that I got to rant about, like, Peter Thiel and all of his like companies. That I guess Peter Thiel like has done a lot of funding of JD Vance, and he's like a tech psycho that thinks that like Greta Thunberg is the Antichrist. I mean, the guy's just nuts, and he's into Lord of the Rings, and everything he does is named after Lord of the Rings. Like his company Palantir is the most famous one, and it's like a data analyzing surveillance, really creepy, gonna be used for like ICE and used for like, you know, probably like scanning all of us and predicting behavior. And I don't know, I don't even understand like the full scope of it, but he sucks. He's so crazy. And Palantir in Lord of the Rings is like a crystal kind of ball that you can see into, and you can kind of see into the minds of others, but it's like really dangerous because you'll be shown certain things. It can kind of manipulate you, and anywho, it's basically like, I don't want to say it's a warning against surveillance, but it's again one of these powers. It's like, oh, be careful trying to wield that. In the movies, the most famous scene, I guess, is Saruman using it to communicate with Sauron or whatever. I don't know. I don't need to keep going on this Lord of the Rings. It was more fun in person. All right. It was more fun to talk about all these things in person. But yeah, it's just so psycho when the things that you love, the evil people also are using. I mean, must be how Christians and Catholics feel. Like when J.D. Vance went to visit the Pope, I guess he wrote the Pope and was like trying to quote some Catholic moral passage that said like, first you love your children, and then your wife, and then your neighbor, and then your village, and then your country, or something like that, meaning like you protect the ones close to you first, and then the rest. But the Pope wrote back and was like, no, that's not what it means. You should love everyone equally. So yeah, I want us all to love each other pretty equally. I mean, like, obviously, I don't know. I'm pretty upset that people are dying that I don't know. I really feel that everybody's child could be my child, especially since I don't have a child. It's all hypothetical. So all my emotions go to children that aren't mine. Little rants. I wanted to talk about some other things, but maybe they're too dark because we have Lindsay Adams on, and she's so funny. And I had her on her 22nd anniversary of being sober. And I also this week reached 11 years sober. And I really love those numbers together. Isn't that nice? 11, 22. So definitely listen to our talk. Check her out, and she's really fun, and it's almost like I get to be friends like with a popular girl, if that makes any sense. She's just like a popular girl in the 90s to me. And I wanted to say one thing about Superman. I don't know if this is too much of a loop back, but me and my partner, ever since COVID, drive up Hollywood Boulevard and we play a game to see if we can name like the heroes that we'll see, like the hero impersonators. Way too many Spider-Mans. Just like get someone else. But there's like some Mickeys. Sometimes there's Bumblebee, which I guess is a Transformer. Sometimes there's Darth Vader. But there's this documentary that came out like 15 years ago or something. It was called Confessions of a Superhero. And it was about Hollywood Boulevard and people who come to Hollywood to be actors, and then they end up playing them on Hollywood Boulevard. And there was this guy, his name was Christopher Lloyd Dennis, and he played Superman on Hollywood Boulevard for forever. And he looked a lot like Superman, and he took it really seriously, and he did a lot of Superman lookalike contests, and he seemed like a really sweet guy, definitely crazy. I think he thought that Elizabeth Taylor was his mom or something like that. There was some like weird thing, but I used to see him around all the time, and I think he just had really suffered from mental illness, and he would show up to meetings sometimes, like 12-step meetings, which I'm not supposed to talk about, but I don't actually even know if he was struggling with that or just like wanted to be around people who would take care of him. Either way, it's just pretty sad because he passed away, I think in COVID, or right before or something. I guess he like tried to crawl into one of those clothing donation things, and he ended up suffocating. But that documentary is I think it's on YouTube, and it's just like kind of about these people that were playing superheroes on the boulevard at the time for tips, and most of them pretty mentally ill and just have big dreams of Hollywood. And it's just kind of like this interesting side to Hollywood of people that move here and are trying to make it, but it's not so likely, especially not now that Hollywood's dead. But back then it was more of a thing. kind of sad. Like it's sad all the people in their dreams. Gosh, it's been 20 minutes already. I gotta just get to Lindsay Adams, which is a shame because I wanted to tell you guys about how my Rite Aid closed, and that I have this thing where I'm like really like attached to brands, and I was as a child too. Like I remember when I was a little kid, the grocery store we would always go to was called Alpha Beta, and it closed. And there was this commercial of a Alpha Beta semi truck driving down a hill out of sight, and then when it drove up, it became a Ralph's truck because it got bought out by frickin' Ralph's, and I just was like devastated of the loss of Alpha Beta and that it was now called Ralph's. Gosh, you guys are so lucky that I ran out of time. I was going to talk about AI and climate change next time. I also was considering talking about The Gilded Age, which I've been watching. I guess I don't have that much to say about that, except it's so nice to watch something that, like, there's no plastic. Oh, imagine a world, everything's just, like, literal gold. Everything's wood. Everything's made from metal. I would rather drink out of lead than plastic at this point. I don't know if that's true, but it feels funny to say. And then there's also something funny about watching a show where you just like start rooting for people that are like, you're like, yes, I would do anything for this railroad tycoon to be successful. I hope he busts all these unions. That's not true, but when you're watching a show, you just root for whoever is on the show. You're like, I want his wife to be the head of society because she's so pretty and she wants it, and I'm watching it. What a good actress, by the way. All right, you guys, I'm gonna let you listen to my interview with Lindsay Adams. So fun. Thank you guys also so much for listening. All right, here she is, everybody. You're famous for your sleep disorders.
Famous in quotations. Yeah, I am. I'm at shows when I whip them out. I haven't quite figured out how to like do something where people can actually see it as a body of work, because I don't really know exactly how, but I do at shows whip it out for funsies.
And by whip it out, she's talking about her sleep talking memos.
Yes, that's right. So I have an app that records me in my sleep, and I talk every night. I haven't listened to the one for last night. But last night I woke up in the middle of the night because my mouth guard was out, and I get panicked because my teeth are so bad that like I'm scared that I'm going to like get a sore jaw in the morning, because I clench my teeth. And so I started panicking and looking around, and I was like, how can I not find it if it fell out of my mouth? And I got up, and Nick, my husband, was like, what is going on? And I was like, I can't find my mouth guard. And then I went to the bathroom, and I had put it in the pocket of my pajama pants. Somehow, like, which was very intentional, obviously, but I have no idea why or how that ended up happening. So that was like that was like a little weird.
Are you maybe sleepwalk, and you're doing physical things as well as sleep talking?
This is the first physical thing I've done other than flail or sit up and say something. But like other than that's like I'm really limited, but like that's a specific action. And that like is very odd to me.
You have like a different person when you're sleeping.
I very much the same, but also very different personality traits based off of the sleep talk recordings.
Like how so?
Well, I will do customer service or business calls for jobs that I've never had.
Or maybe you have.
I mean, they're related to things I've done or interactions that I've had on the customer end or in some related way, but not necessarily in the same way. I also use vocabulary words that I just really don't normally use.
So interesting.
Yeah, it's really weird. And then there's a lot of the same type of stuff. Like things that I would say without thinking too hard about it, responses and whatnot. But sometimes I'm like weaving some sort of elaborate story. And it's just like, where the fuck did this come from?
I love this exploration of your subconscious.
I know.
That's going on. I feel like it's related to me to being an alcoholic.
Yeah, for sure.
We're both alcoholics.
Yes.
And we're both sober.
Yep.
Okay. And today is actually your sober anniversary. How many years?
22.
Oh, I have 11. That feels like such a
Whoa,
good double.
That is a good double.
I just got chills of little number doubles.
Ooh, I love that.
Yeah, those are nice little numbers. That's cute.
That's perfect.
We need to take a picture today. But like when I was drunk, I do feel like there was a different subconscious version. Sure. My aunt, this is one of my favorite things to talk about because I have an aunt, not blood related.
Okay.
She is an alcoholic, but not sober. And she would always say that when she was drunk, that she could fluently speak Spanish.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah. She's amazing.
Yeah.
I don't like to be mean, but she's really like a stupid person. She truly is. I'm sorry, but it's like, but she's also nasty. And like, I remember being a kid and like, there would be like migrant gardeners working on one of her neighbor's lawns.
Yeah.
And she'd be like, I bet they didn't even check their papers.
Jesus Christ.
And as a child, I was like, that's insane.
Yeah.
Like that you would want to check some children know.
Well, it's like that's pure hateful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's not even like they're like all they're doing is their job and she's like their papers. That's just hateful.
Right. They're just like, what are you talking? They're just trimming some hedges.
Yeah, it's not like they fucked up and then she was like, they're not from this country. Because then when you're a kid, you're at least like trying to connect dots. But if someone just out of nowhere is like.
But then, okay, kind of interesting though that in her like, I think when you're drunk, like a different part of your subconscious is coming out.
Yeah.
I don't think she could fluently speak Spanish, but interesting that's a thing that she wanted to brag about, like that she could do.
I'd love to see her try.
I would. I don't know, but I think that's interesting that it's like, she's like, I want to speak Spanish, but I hate the people who do.
Well, racist white people don't connect that in America for the most part. They don't connect that like they want to speak a language of people that they're discriminating against. They just want to be like, I speak 2 languages. And you're like, shut the fuck up.
The vitriol, though, I don't think you get that kind of vitriol without some kind of weird jealousy, shame, something. I don't know.
That's
I don't
a really
know.
good point.
I don't know. I also have a good customer service story. It's one of my favorite customer service moments, which is I was working at this store called FYE in the Tanforan in San Bruno.
Wait, that's the old music store or
okay. It was like
CDs.
It like bought out Sam Goody or whatever, that kind of thing. Okay. But yeah, this
or electronics, not necessarily CDs, like music equipment.
Yeah, but a lot of CDs and then like you know, there was some like anime porn too.
Love it. Of course there's got to be.
But most of the customer base was Spanish speaking, and so we usually had some kind of like Spanish speaking music on, and there was something playing. I don't even remember what it was, but there was this white lady in there, and she was trying to buy a Beavis and Butthead blanket. You know how we also had those kinds of things, right?
Yeah. And that's where you go for stuff.
And she was yelling at me from across the store, and I like answered, and she was like, I can't hear you. And I was like, well, come over here. This is emergency, by the way. I see you keep looking at this.
Oh, I'm just interested. I thought
I know it looks like PP.
No. I actually thought it was orange juice.
Oh.
And I was kind of just like excited and impressed because I don't usually see people drinking orange juice.
No.
And I was like, okay, Jessica.
No, I don't drink orange juice usually. Sometimes I drink it at work, but we're not supposed to.
Fair.
Anyway.
I was just like, what a throwback. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, no, this is emergency. I felt like I needed some electrolytes.
Fair.
Yeah, so I say, if you want to hear me, come over to the counter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And she was like, I can't even hear you with all this music that I don't even speak this language. And then I had one of my favorite responses to this day, which is like, oh, we also sell the Rosetta Stone if you're interested. And then she was so furious. But it's just like, yeah, you can learn, you know, if you want. Like,
if you want to. That's a really good response. And you didn't get in trouble.
No.
That's good. Well, what you said was like pretty. I mean, if your boss were to be like, hey, this customer complained, you could shirk it by being like, I was trying to be helpful.
My boss was cool, a little too cool, also an alcoholic. It got weird. Then we had to quit.
Well, how did it get weird? You don't have to answer.
Well, I mean, a lot of drinking together.
Okay.
I mean, and then you really shouldn't black out around your boss, and you really shouldn't have your boss black out around you.
Yeah, so there's blank spaces, or you put pieces together after, or it was just there was
nothing that weird, but it just like was very dysfunctional alcoholism kind of relationship, and we were friends before I got hired there.
Oh, okay.
So actually, we met on OkCupid. We hooked up. So
shut up.
Yeah. So
shout out OkCupid.
There's a little bit of backstory, but yeah, one of my drinking got really bad, and the Tan Fran was about an hour BART ride away from my place in Oakland.
Yeah.
So I would I stay over sometimes in San Bruno and sleep on their floor. And then like, I remember I was so hungover in the morning on the BART ride back that I had to get off at every BART stop and throw up in the trash can and then get back on the BART.
It was nice of you to use the trash can.
Thank you so much.
I think
I'd grown up at that point.
Yeah. I mean, to not do it everywhere else, I think is courteous.
Can I tell you the most disgusting thing I ever did while drunk?
Yeah, absolutely.
I did poop in a urinal.
That's amazing.
Thank you so much. It was like one of those trough urinals.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's fair. I have a fun poop story too. I guess poop warning. I was high and I worked at a hair salon, and it was like in an old colonial house in New Jersey. So like a lot of those places, they turned into businesses. They got zoned for businesses.
Sure.
So upstairs is where they kept all their storage. And I was supposed to be sorting stuff upstairs. I was really just stealing makeup that they sold there and selling it at school. And there was no bathroom upstairs. And I had to take a shit. And I was high. And so I was trying to strategize because I didn't want anyone to know that I had taken a shit. And so I was like, well, I can't go in the bathroom. And then I was like, why don't I just go in a bag up here? Because it like felt like my safe space. You know, when you're high, you're just like, maybe I'll just stay in this closet. That's how I thought of the second floor, because no one was going to bother me. And I was like, I'm just going to shit in this plastic bag. But then I didn't know what to do with it. And so I opened the back window.
Yeah.
And like helicoptered the bag. And then I threw it into the woods. There was snow on the ground. I didn't, and I really just shut the window and never spoke of it again until
right now.
Yeah. Until years and years and years later. And like, it's just such a weird, I appreciate what your story as well, because it's like you almost made it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's like you almost we should have just shit on the floor.
Yeah.
And like really let ourselves be free.
Right.
But instead, we still had something in our brain that was like, you got to get it somewhere.
Can I tell you about the most beautiful time I ever had using the bathroom?
Yeah.
Number 2?
Yeah.
It was like a backpacking camping trip. And there was like this wooden kind of toilet situation in this circle of trees.
Oh my God.
It really was a throne, and I was like but you could peek through the trees and see like the mountains and stuff. And there I was just taking a shit.
I love
like
that.
the way that God wanted us to.
No, and honestly, that's best case scenario. That's how I feel whenever I'm in an immersive woods environment that is both comfortable and completely surrounded by nature. Like that is what God intended, because otherwise it's a little too, normally a backpacking situation, that's a red flag for me.
Right.
I don't like camping because I'm not a huge fan. I mean, I will piss anywhere, but I'm not a huge fan of sitting I will also bare ass on any surface, but I would prefer.
Yeah, a porcelain.
Yeah, I would prefer maybe like something where I don't have to breathe out of my mouth.
I think this wasn't smelly, it was the smell of pines. I was pooping into this wooden hole.
I love that.
And, I think we all think like, oh, we got to have running water. But I'm like, if you're in the right circle of trees, you really don't need it.
The trees
Did you watch that documentary on Netflix, The Poop Cruise?
No, I meant to.
Well, it's actually not interesting, but
and that's the thing. I watched a handful of TikTok clips, and it was just people that were like, "It was disgusting."
You get the whole thing, and there were parts of it that were disgusting, but part of it was like everyone was like, they gave them bags like to go in because the plumbing went out, and everyone was like,
"Been there."
As we know, you're capable of this.
Yeah, not a big deal.
These people on the cruise were not capable of this to the point where they were still going in the toilets.
Okay, grow up.
Right? Thank you so much.
Grow up.
Like imagine being like, I don't shit unless it's in clean water.
Well, that's the thing. That shows more gross mental incompetence than me shitting in a bag.
I agree. You're right. It's the rest of society that's crazy.
It is. It's also your choice to go on a cruise in general shows a lack of proper judgment.
I want to go out to sea, but I don't want to go out to sea in a city.
No, I want to be on a yacht. Like I want to go on I want like a luxurious boat that will take me around different places. Those Alaska boats. I don't want to cruise.
Right.
But the idea of waking up in Alaska or some Norwegian country.
Yeah.
That's pretty fucking sick.
Yeah, I would do that.
Yeah.
We're both like kind of water people.
Yeah, I like to be around water.
Yeah, because I remember when I first moved here, I had a pool. And that's maybe how we became friends.
Yes. That sounds about right. That honestly sounds about right. I was like, pool?
Yeah.
Sure.
I feel like not enough people have a pool right now.
I have a pool.
What?
Yeah, you should come over.
Okay.
It's in the center of our apartment building. So the only problem with it is that it's overrun by kids.
Ew.
I know. And that really puts a damper on it.
I don't mind kids, but I don't want kids in the pool with me.
I know. And it's pretty unpleasant. But other than that, and they had to put like an ugly fence around it. But other than that, it's like a pool's a pool. You know what I mean? Usually if I don't have a job, which I don't right now, I will do a little midday dippy dip. And
nice. Yeah, I used to wake up in the morning and then jump in that pool, and it wasn't heated, but it was really great because I got my little cold plunge before cold plunges were a thing.
Okay, excuse me. I've never tried a cold plunge.
It doesn't need to be that cold is my thing.
Yeah.
These people dumping themselves in ice and all this stuff. I'm like, if you just have the shower on a little bit cold for a little bit, it's the same thing. I swear to God.
I would rather do a cryo chamber than a cold plunge because like the cold water, the older I get, the more I really put my foot down about cold water.
I've gotten better at cold water than I used to be.
Really?
Yeah, when I was younger, I couldn't get myself to go in, but
maybe I'll take a turn.
Well, I like to go to the Wii Spa and then do the cold to the hot tub to the cold tub to the hot tub.
Yep, I won't do the cold there.
The first time that I did this was the day that Donald Trump got elected the first time.
Oof.
And
visceral moment.
I really had this thing where I was, we were all ghosts that day. We were all like a shell. And I was in the hot tub and there was this old lady in there and she was like, you're supposed to go to the cold and then hot. It's good for your circulation.
Shut up.
I loved her though.
Oh, okay.
I loved she was
I hate when people try to be helpful initially, but it is nice.
I do too, actually. I don't like people telling me what to do, but she was like an old Korean woman and I was like a shell of a person.
Sure. Okay.
So in this moment, I was like, I need help.
Right.
But usually I don't like help, especially for parking.
Yeah. That's so funny.
If a man starts waving at me how to park, I start getting so angry.
That's so funny. I don't get that much often anymore, but I used to, and I hate it.
Sometimes it's even like someone working there and that's their job is to help you get in the spot.
I know.
But I'm just like, I can't take this for whatever reason.
No.
This isn't something I can do.
Stay out of my fucking business.
But anyway,
she gave you the direction.
The cold, I did that and I started feeling myself kind of come back into my body a little bit.
What if I want to stay out of my body?
That's an option. That's an option.
What if I'm like pretty into the idea of being disassociated from my body?
Well, that you can go. There's a lot of ways to do that, especially these days. You know?
Well, I also think that some people who do the cold plunge stuff, they're just seeking a dopamine rush. I know there's circulation benefits, but I do think that like there's a handful of like gym bros or like people that do it where they're like, oh, you don't understand, when you get out, you're energized. And it's like, okay, like go jerk off. Like, I don't, you know what I mean?
They literally could not jerk off anymore.
I know.
They physically can't.
They physically are unable to. I'm just like, go like seek your dopamine hit elsewhere.
You know, the first person I think that I saw doing cold plunges was Russell Brand.
That makes sense.
Because
I
used to kind of like follow him a little bit. I used to watch his YouTube and I actually saw him in person and I was like, wow, he's like so handsome.
Really?
I didn't feel that way when I like would see him on TV and stuff, but seeing him in person, this was maybe 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I was like, he's a prince, like dark features, really tall. And he had a good vibe about him, but now I'm seeing him online. He came up on my TikTok feed because he was on some Christian thing because he's like a Christian now, and he just seemed so manic and crazy and was talking about Donald Trump and was talking about Christ and all this stuff, and I was like, he's got this problem which is the opposite of my aunt, I feel, where I'm like, he is actually smart and his brain is working really fast.
Yeah.
That I think it's hard for him to like be just like in reality. Like he needs so much stimulation or something that it just ends up at he's someone that I would recommend. I don't know how to keep that guy grounded, but it seemed like he might have been for a minute. He wrote like a recovery book. It was like,
he seemed like a pretty grounded guy. And, you know, he was dating Katy Perry before they like got divorced and, you know, all of that. And I was kind of like, I don't know, you know, was talking about this last night and I stand by this generalization for the most part. my husband thinks I need to make less gross generalizations of things.
Mm-hmm.
And I like it.
It's fun as a comedian to be like, this is true.
Yeah. And it's like also, there's like everything is subjective. I'm so open to being wrong, like proven wrong. But I like when I like to agree with it. So like, I think that as an adult, you past a certain age, I don't know what the age is. If you are not actively trying to become a better person and evolve and work to change, you will become a worse person.
That's true, yeah.
And I think that that's true. I feel like I see it with people like my age that I've known for like 15 years. And it's like they've always been like on the edge, but like they have a good heart. You know what I mean? Something like that. And then all of a sudden you realize you're like, wait, this person's like causing a lot of damage. And like at this point, you can't like they've like crossed the line. You know?
I know what you mean. That's a good awareness to have though, and like kind of keep in your back pocket that at any point any of us could slide back.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we wonder how old people get that way.
Right.
We're like, how did you end up that way when you were young, you were so cool? And it's like, I don't know. But at the same time, I know that I could probably continue. If I continue to try to do work to evolve and stay grounded, my hope is that, I don't get significantly worse.
Yeah, sometimes I feel myself sliding back in some areas.
Oh, for sure.
And then I get better, and it's like a little puzzle. I got to keep it all together. But I got to let myself off the hook. Like, okay, you're kind of sucking in this general compartment right now, but
no, for sure.
We'll get that together. We'll get that fixed up. The
fact that like even recognizing that though, I think is like positive. At least that's what I try to tell myself, because I'll hear stuff come out of my mouth where I'm like, ooh, that's yucky. Like you gotta let's work on that. But whereas like I really feel like in my like younger years, I would be like, that's homophobic or racist or whatever. Not that I have these thoughts, not that I say shit like that all the time, but like I would be so hyper aware. And now I'll just go with the flow and then be like, oh, wait, that's actually not coming from a good place. Like, whoops, reverse that.
Right. Do better, Lindsay.
Yeah, do better. Do better. I say that to myself in the mirror. I go, no. Come on now.
I think you do pretty good.
I don't know. I'd like to think so, but every now and then
I don't see a lot of Lindsay wreckage.
I don't. I'm still like obsessed with. I'm still over obsessed with perception, so that holds me back a significant amount. But I think like the people, if you catch me in private. If I had some private conversations released, you'd get a lot of cancelable.
I think about that for myself all the time, and not even just private.
Yeah.
I honestly think anyone could cancel anyone unless they're like a saint.
No, I agree. I mean, pull back my shit from high school before I was sober.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
You could make a strong case against me
for sure.
if you wanted to. You could make a pretty good case.
Oh, 100%.
Like if I was a politician's son, daughter.
Never.
I'm thinking about Hunter today. I guess he had some interview that came out.
Did he?
We're talking about all the alcoholics today.
Yeah,
Russell
we are.
Brand, Hunter Biden, and it's so weird because it's like
poor Hunter.
We're in like the 12 steps, and then all these famous people that are becoming 12-step famous right now are doing so much damage.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, freaking RFK. That
Embarrassing. Embarrassing.
Like, how do you do your steps and then ruin a country with your steps?
I know. It's like it's pretty fucking embarrassing.
We got to add more steps.
Add more steps to protect. Well, that's the thing. The traditions are supposed to protect the fucking, I mean, most of the time when people go buck wild like RFK, you're breaking a bunch of traditions.
Will you explain to our listeners what tradition? Because everyone knows steps, but not everyone knows traditions.
So there's a 12 steps.
We're in a cult. So
we're in a cult.
Thanks for listening to this cult.
Yeah.
This has been brought to you by.
This has been brought to you by a cult, but we're not allowed to name because it's anonymous and it's for alcoholics. And so there's the 12 steps, which most people know about, but then within the group, cult, program, etc., there are also the 12 traditions. And the general way it's described is the 12 steps essentially protects you from yourself, and the 12 traditions protects the program from you. Right?
What is like
so like, for example, a tradition is anonymity is a spiritual foundation of all our traditions. Principles before personalities. That's supposed to prevent someone from deciding that when they see you at the grocery store with your family, they could be like, oh my God, AA, what's up? I know this person from AA. In case somebody doesn't want to tell their family for whatever reason, you know, it's kind of like outing someone. So it's like shit like that where you're like protecting other people and the program from you. Yeah. Because alcoholics are so prone to self-centered and egotistical and destructive behavior.
I think freaking everybody is right now, too.
Well, everybody is, but, you know, I will say like 12-step handles like a good chunk of like it's a good baseline for handling a handful of my destructive behavior, and then I can kind of take the rest to therapy.
One thing that I feel like is maybe sort of a paradox for me is I feel like therapy is very like, take care of your fucking self.
Yeah.
Like get yourself, like take care of your needs. Like, especially whatever happened when you're a child, like, you know, help that person.
Right.
And then AA is very, or the anonymous group. Jesus Christ.
One of the traditions, to be clear why we're joking about this, one of the traditions is to basically like not talk about it in TV or film. But this was written in the 1930s.
Yeah.
So like TV, film, or radio was included.
Yeah. I think we probably sort of shouldn't, but it's like my listenership is small enough that I feel like it's more of a benefit than a, like if I was Joe Rogan, it would be different.
Yeah. I mean, like
if I was Joe Rogan, it would be different.
If I was
the world
Joe
would
Rogan,
be different.
Yeah. If you were Joe Rogan, I agree. That would be different. But also technically RFK speaking publicly about being in AA is breaking tradition.
Right.
So, but whatever. Anyway, we're the exception to the rule. So it doesn't really matter. Because
we're fine.
We're good people.
Yeah. We're nice girls.
Yeah, we're like nice girls. This is supposed to be helpful. And also it's been done. It's done. We can't go back in time. We already said AA.
Technically could edit it out.
And we won't.
It will be fun.
And we will not edit it out.
It would be so funny if we just bleep AA.
It really would be funny. If you have the time, which you should not.
I think it's great.
I think that would be really funny. I forgot what we were talking about. Oh, like therapy being about helping yourself. Yeah.
And then a lot of 12 traditions is one of the traditions is like, put the group's benefit above the individual or something.
Yeah. Get outside yourself, be less self-centered, think about other people.
Which does work.
I agree.
If I'm spinning the fuck out and someone calls me and is like, I'm having a hard time, I'm like, suddenly I feel better.
Totally. Helping other people is always something that makes me feel better and like is dual purpose. And it's funny because it is also something, I mean, I do think there's inherent selfishness that maybe as alcoholic, I think is like not only alcoholic, but I think is definitely alcoholic. That like I would think to stay home and wallow before I would instinctually be like, why don't I help someone else?
Right.
So it is good. It's like a helpful suggestion step, part of the program, you know?
I think that's how society's designed a little bit.
Yeah.
Right now. I think that we're not a very like, let's all come together kind of vibe. So I think of alcoholism as sort of could capitalism have contributed to alcoholism? I think so.
For sure.
I think it's a kind of a societal illness. I think it's colonialism. I really do. Because
yeah, I mean, I do think that there were alcoholics forever and ever ago also. Like when all they had was class hierarchy and it wasn't as much about capitalism as it was about like wealth and class and like I guess like I'm thinking of like
I'm going back to like tribal living.
Oh, tribal living? There had to be a dude in the tribe.
Yeah, but then everyone comes together and is they either help him out. They either help him out. Exactly. That's how humans survive. We help each other out.
No, that is true. But you know, the guys were like, it's the women that I could just see like if we're tracing back female and male patterns from now to tribal society. I love the idea of the men not knowing how to communicate with each other and just being like, yeah, man, how's your family? Be like, it's pretty good. And then like the women being like, okay, have you talked about blah, 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 blah. Let's problem solve. Like, all right, girls, let's get together. And all the guys are just like, so like, I should just see what like my wife's up to. Cause like, she's probably got some stuff for me to do. Just like I just think men are idiots. That's all. That's like the baseline. Men are dumb.
I do. Yeah. I don't know how much of that is socialization versus how much of it is they are dumb. They're for sure dumb. Like, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know either because I do think gender is a spectrum as well. So, which really shoots holes in my generalizations. Right. But I think like if gender is a spectrum and transgender has to do with like a fundamental, you know, like brain difference, maybe my theory still holds up. Because if you are a transgender woman and then I'm like figuring this out in the moment, how I can prove myself correct.
Let's get there. Let's prove you correct.
If my theory, men are stupid.
An academic theory by Lindsay Adams.
This is my academic hypothesis. Men are more socially stupid and in general also, but don't know how to communicate versus women. Okay, so that is the statement. Now I will back it up.
Hypothesis. That's
my hypothesis, backing it up in conjunction with my belief in transgender people and gender being a spectrum. A transgender woman then, if they're born, regardless of what body they're born in, with what sex organs, their brain is female. Therefore, they will be able to communicate there'll be a level of socialization that will affect it. Other than that, they will be able to adapt to positive communal communication.
Okay, I'm going to say, here's what I'm going to say. I think that, well, one time I heard Dan Savage, he's a gay man.
Right.
But he was like, oh, like, queer sex is like always more interesting because you have to talk about it. Like the communication's already better.
Okay.
Because you have to talk about what you're going to do. Am I a top? Am I a bottom?
Sure.
Do you like this? Do you like this? Whereas in a hetero situation, it's like there's an assumption we're not going to talk about it. This is how it's going to go. You're going to fake it. Then we're going to head home.
We've only got so many holes.
Yeah. There's not as much imagination. So I think that like, I think it's a problem of if you're more the norm in terms of a gender and you haven't had to kind of communicate and think and that in fact it's expected of you to not, then it's just like, I think that like there's positions in life that are bad for your brain. I think being a landlord's bad for your brain. I think being white is bad for your brain. I think being man is bad for your brain.
A straight man, it's pretty bad for your brain.
I think that's probably the worst thing.
Maybe that's a better way to say it. Like instead of saying men are stupid, I should say being a straight man is bad for your brain.
That's how I would put it. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's funnier to say men are stupid.
Yeah.
And it's a little more rage baity, which feels like
you have a rage bait side to you.
I have a really strong rage bait side to me.
Yeah.
And I love to play stupid. I love to play stupid. There's nothing more than like, I mean, I've had to work so hard on my passive aggressive tendencies in my relationships because I love a jab that'll make, I love a gaslight.
I would love to see you in an alternative timeline of your life where you never get sober, you never work on yourself, you're a New Jersey housewife, and you are just like brutal.
I would be such good TV.
You'd be the best, like, yeah.
I mean, that's how I was as a teenager. That is who I was. It was like low key, and it sucked for the adults because it was like I was a terrorist, but it was low key entertaining. And as someone that like is now a comedian and enjoys entertaining people, I would also get off on being able to tell that they were entertained, like despite themselves. Do you know what I mean?
I remember the first time I ever experienced what you're talking about, and I was at daycare, and there was this kid that was younger. I was like maybe fourth grade.
Yeah.
Third or fourth grade, something like that. And this kid was like to the daycare teacher, like, look at this trick. Look at me watch me do this. And I was like sarcastically like, wow, you should join a circus. And then the daycare teacher laughed, and I felt like this like power.
Oh
my
God!
Oh, I can make an adult laugh. Like I can be mean to other kids.
Yeah, you just hit so many power surges at once.
Yeah,
it's like, especially I think power is such a key part of what I get off on.
I think it's a very alcoholic thing too. I think that's why I drank, because I wanted to feel like some kind of a little god, like in some way.
Well, power equates with control to a certain degree, depending on the kind of power it is. There's like, I want ultimate power and control. So like, I feel like I'm pulling the puppet strings. You know, I think that I'm like, when you get sober, they talk about how like alcoholics will approach their lives as if it's a play and they're the director and they're also in the play. And then whenever somebody like does something wrong, they like scream at them and then they're like, why'd you quit? But like, I do think there's something like really appealing about when that is executed in a way that works.
Right.
Like that for me, I remember one of the moments, I mean, and what sucks is like, I also did have a conscience that I did have to like, if you have a conscience about behavior, like unless you're a sociopath, you do have to learn how to turn it off.
Right.
Or like shove down when you know that you've hurt someone's feelings. But I remember when I was in 8th grade, my Spanish teacher, I was like a cheerleader, and it was like I was peaking. I mean, I was peaking hard. I like hadn't like fucked everything up yet, but I was like getting drunk, and like I was like skinny, and all of a sudden like I had attention from boys
the power
and
of
friends.
being skinny.
The power of being skinny.
Get back to that.
Skinny and blonde.
Put a pin in that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I had an eating disorder. I worked so hard to get there, too. Like, it was very intentional. And so I was a cheerleader, and I needed to pull someone from class to ask them a question. And my Spanish teacher was not having it. And she was like, no, you can't pull this person from my class. And so I shut the door, and as I shut it, I turned around, stepped out of eye line, and said, "You fucking slut." And this woman came running out, and I was with, I think, another girl, and this woman came running out and was like, "What did you say?" And I go, "I have no idea what you're talking about." And she was like, "I heard you. You called me a name. Say it again." And I was like, "Mrs. Wickland, I would never." Like,
amazing.
I was like, I don't know. I was like, I would never say that. It was someone that ran by. Like, someone ran by and just yelled it. I don't think it was directed at anyone. And she was so pissed. And I remember getting called into the principal's office, and the principal liked me, but like, I had like, this was like the millionth time I was in his office, and he was like, "Lindsay," and I was like, "I really feel terrible because I don't know who did it, but like it wasn't me." And like, I could have like come right there. Like I was like, I am a fucking god. This poor woman, she's just like, this dumb little bitch called me a fucking slut. Really horrific. But that's like a good example of where I was like, haha, you dumb bitch.
But like something in us, like it chipped away at us this search for ultimate power and control.
Oh, for sure.
And it just
destroys
it
you.
Erodes the soul.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that woman was my next door neighbor growing up. I grew up with her kid. Like, she knew me since I was a baby. And then I grew up into this monster that called her a slut and then made her look crazy.
The teenage years are so crazy too, though.
Yeah, they're awful. I mean, kids are terrible. If I don't have to encounter a kid that's like me, then like...
I wasn't so much like that. I think I was a generally sort of nice teenager. When I got to college, I would say that the way that I like wanted power and was I was the most radical activist.
Oh, I love that.
And I
like cautionary tale.
A cautionary tale indeed. And I'm glad that I got this phase of myself over with young, but it does still pop up for sure. But for the most part, I'm very humbled by life and my own flaws at this point.
Which makes you a better activist.
Probably, yes. Although I was very motivated. You can be very motivated to get things done when you're young and very confident, but you don't know when you're doing something destructive necessarily. You're just kind of like a bull in a china shop. But I was I would be like in class, and if someone would say something that wasn't correct or whatever, like I would like shame them. I would like make people cry in class. But you know what's fucked up?
I love that.
It felt so powerful because I was like, yeah, you're on the wrong side of history. Bow down to me. The right side of history?
No, I mean, that's so interesting. Like, I actually would have, in an alternate universe, loved to see us go head to head as that version. Because,
oh my God.
Because I would have been such a good target for you.
That's so interesting.
Because, it would have been like a bird's eye view volatile because you would have made me so mad seeing through my shit.
Maybe we need to make this sketch.
I know, right? Would it be funny for just us? Like the most toxic versions of both.
Of our teenage selves.
Because like you would have gotten under my skin because I didn't encounter a lot of people like that because most people at my high school were not on the right side of history. So, you know, if I said something out of line, they thought it was hilarious. But anytime anybody tried to like counter it with like, that's morally wrong, I was so defensive that I would do anything to destroy you. And if you had the same energy.
Oh my God. So much fun.
I know.
This is so much fun.
If you came at me with that same energy of like, because for me, it was like self-preservation focus. So like if I had this like, I have this need for people to think I'm a good person too, or at least I did for a really long time. Like I still fight it, but like, so if you misconstrued something, like who I was inside, then I would like in my brain, my actions didn't reflect who I was at that age. Even at that age, I was like, if someone judges me on this behavior, they obviously don't know that I was brutally bullied and that I'm miserable and that I'm at a disadvantage based off of, you know, certain things in my upbringing, blah, blah, blah. So like if you had tried to judge me morally, I would have lost my mind from a self-preservation perspective. But for you, like how did it serve you power-wise? Like what was the energy?
I mean, I think ultimately I was trying to, not to sound like Israel, but do like a preemptive strike.
No,
right?
Yeah, okay. Not to relate to Israel too hard.
Jesus fucking Christ, by the way, is all they have to say to that. But yeah, it was very like, if I can put myself above everyone morally,
yeah, you're
then
Teflon.
I don't have to look into the cracks of what's actually going on.
Nice.
But I also used a lot of knowledge that I was learning, and I still have to be careful about this in terms of like political or like global oppression or whatever. I used it in a very self-abusive way as well. So I was abusing myself, abusing other people.
Yeah.
In terms of like, you have to be perfect. You have to like, otherwise people will die, and that kind of thing. And it's just like.
I mean, that's kind of an alcoholic trait too, though. Like the egomaniac with an inferiority complex.
Exactly. I very much always related to that.
Yeah, me
when I
too.
heard that, it was, someone said once like, the most important, biggest piece of shit in the room or something like that. And that's definitely how I've spent a lot of time feeling.
That's kind of like I don't know if it's unique, but it's definitely something that I think a lot of people who come into recovery can relate to, because like our behavior doesn't really make sense to other people when you describe it, because most people, I think that like behave in the toxic way that we've talked about in terms of like the extreme behaviors towards other people, would then not really be worried about like feeling bad for themselves or hating themselves. Like in other people's brains, they're like, if you're going to hate yourself, why would you do that? You know, like you should just do that and not hate yourself for it. And that's something that I think, is like relatable to most alcoholics. So just like act out of like essentially, hurt yourself while hurting other people and then being
it's pretty chaotic.
Yes.
It's pretty chaotic.
For sure.
And I feel like I did have to come into recovery to get some very basic common sense kind of things down. Like, if you don't drink, you won't get drunk. This won't, like,
for sure.
Like very basic, like,
Yeah.
Had to learn how to just like go to a job and like be in a room and just sit there.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of alarming and also nice to sit down and realize that like there are just some basic simple concepts that haven't connected in my brain.
Yeah.
That, and then like you have to get over the hump of being like, could this fix me? You know what I mean? Like, could this help?
Yeah.
Because it doesn't, like, it's not like we build these systems because we think other stuff is going to work. We build them because we think it's not going to work.
Mm-hmm.
And that like the way other people function doesn't work for me. So I have to do things differently.
Yeah, I mean, being so uncomfortable in your skin, especially you got childhood trauma, family, alcoholism, whatever else going on, feeling so uncomfortable in your skin for so long.
Yeah.
And then, like, you know, whatever age you are when you first get drunk, you're like, I feel good. I feel powerful. I feel attractive. I feel funny.
Yeah.
I feel cool. Like your brain is going to latch onto that and be like, oh, this is the fucking key. Make her always do this because now we're fine.
100%. Well, and the thing is too, it's like a lot of this behavior is a reaction to not being able to feel drunk 24/7.
Yeah.
Like for me.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't, when I was like humiliating people to like feel good and also hate, like, you know, self-flagellate or whatever, I wasn't drunk. Like when I would get drunk, I would be on the floor, and that's how I wanted it. Like I wanted to be unconscious. I wanted to be blacked out. I definitely was abusive, but like part of why was because like living in that back and forth is chaotic, and something needed to quiet it and dampen it instead of trying to like figure it out and deal with it.
Yeah. It's almost like your brain is just trying to slap a bunch of duct tape on like
a
bunch of cracks that are water's pouring out of this tank.
Right. And then you're like, well, what if we just like get everything wet and then it won't matter if everything.
Exactly.
We're like, what if we like pretend like the room is supposed to be wet?
Right.
And then just try to convince other people that that's actually how it should be. So it's fine if this like thing is leaking.
Dang.
I know. But look at us now.
Now, yeah, calm, cool, collected, elegant.
Demure, if we're jumping on that train.
We can jump on, almost maybe a year almost.
Probably a year.
Demure. I remember my stepmom's stepdad used to call me demure, and it would kind of creep me out. He'd be like, "You're a very demure young lady, aren't you?"
Wait, that's so funny and bad. And it reminds me of when my mom used to try to cheer me up about my body when I was younger and say that I was, what is it, Zoftus?
What? I don't know this.
It's like some old-timey word to describe like voluptuous women from like the 1900s back to like, I don't know, maybe like the 1500s or something. And I was like, okay,
Zoftus?
Zofty, Zoftful. Let's see.
Zoloft,
Zoftus. Let's see.
I do want to
Zoftig.
Okay, yeah.
Zoftig. Yeah. It's like means like well fed or something like that. I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, reminds me of that.
I do want to talk about the show that I saw you in, which feels related to this, which is Do You Still Like Me?
Yeah.
And it was really fun. It's going through like a lot of stories of middle school, kind of high school, this kind of your most chaotic era when you were drinking and even before that.
Yeah.
And you have people put up little panels that say if they still like you or not, yes and no.
Yeah.
And it was really nice to kind of get to know like that middle school, high school Lindsay. Also
Yeah.
just like so cute.
And thank you for coming.
Of course. I had so much fun.
That's good. Yeah. It took me so long to look at the younger version of myself and be like, oh, she's sweet.
Yeah.
Like, you're cute. Like, forever, I was like, anything that looks slightly like that, I gotta kill myself. You know what I mean? Like, I like running so far from whatever version of myself that brought up that pain. But I'm glad you enjoyed. I mean, like, I was hoping it was relatable and it was also exposure therapy and hopefully catharsis for other people. I felt so selfish doing it. And I just was like, okay, if it's selfish, then I'm selfish. Like, is that the craziest thing? You know what I mean? Like, anytime you're writing a show and you're like the center of it, it's like,
I mean, it's what you know, and
it is like stand up feels like an easier way to, you know, if you don't want to be the center of it, you're not the center of it. Your opinion, the way you present it's the center of it. But I also think with my stand up for many years, I have always wanted to talk about this stuff because I've hoped it's relatable and would make people feel less alone. But like, it didn't sit and stand up correctly.
yeah.
And it always felt like I was trying to do too much a little bit. And it really would only resonate with a couple kinds of people that would come to shows. And obviously those people are like my people, but you know, not everybody wants to hear about someone joking about like an eating disorder when they were a teenager in a stand-up set. You know?
Right.
Some people do, and if they do, fucking hell yeah, bro.
You were talking about it in a stand-up set once, and you said one thing. You were talking about dating an older man.
Yeah.
And first, I don't know why this always just gets me that you were like, you know, I looked so hot. I don't know how old you were at this point, like
I was
8th
15.
grade, 15. And you were like, at this point, I was like looking so hot. My body was like almost childlike. And the reason your timing was so perfect on it, but it's so funny to me because like also we truly live in a society where like the sexual ideal is like
a child,
a young woman / child. And
100%.
like it's like when I first went through puberty, I was 12 years old.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm like walking down the street and all these men are like yelling at me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So disgusting.
And it's just like, I remember at the time being like, whoa, I'm 12, you guys. Like, Jesus Christ.
And that's a really healthy awareness.
Yeah.
As a young girl, because I wanted that attention.
I didn't at 12, but like I did at like 18, 17, 18 for sure.
Oh, I wanted it so young. I remember in 7th grade, my friends and I went to the amusement park, to Dorney Park in Pennsylvania. Shout out East Coast. Nobody fucking cares. But I remember like we would try to see who got the most cat calls.
Wow.
Yeah. Like that was such a... I mean, I loved the attention. So for you to at least be like, I'm 12 is so rad.
Yeah, I was kind of a late bloomer in terms of like wanting like actually sexual attention.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, not late bloomer. No, that's actually kind of normal.
Yeah, no. That's very normal.
It's normal to be sexual and stuff.
To be over sexualized at that age.
But I did want that attention from like people my age.
Yeah.
But I never got it. No one ever asked me to a dance.
Same. Nobody ever asked me to a dance. I didn't have a boyfriend. I never had a boyfriend in high school that went to my school. Nobody in my grade was ever interested in me.
I would have liked to have had someone had a crush on me.
Same. I totally get it. Maybe there was one kid, but I think it was because he like thought that I would suck his dick. Like, I'm pretty sure that was the only reason why he was like, yeah, Lindsay seems pretty cool, because like 40 other people were like, she definitely sucked my dick.
There was one guy that asked me to homecoming that I thought was nerdy at the time.
Yeah.
And it was only one guy ever. And I was like, oh, we're just friends. But I look back now and I'm like, why? He was so cute. What's wrong with you?
I know.
Maybe I wanted a popular guy's attention or something.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's also normal and like conditioning to a certain degree. I think that's why high school is hell too, because it's like women have like their own bag of awfulness, but then all those nerdy dudes who like, I was like, ew, dude, like I'm a loser, but you're a loser. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like they had it bad as well.
That's
or
true.
like, you know, the kids that were closeted, that like, what a living nightmare.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because it felt like if someone would find something out at school, like, and you would be ousted or made fun of at school, like that would be the end of life.
Oh, for sure.
If everything feels so big when you're middle school, high school.
If people didn't blow people and myself did not blow my secrets out into like the atmosphere in like 7th grade, I would have lived in that same fear. But I was also like an overshare. I was like, I farted in gym class. Fuck you. I would be like, tell everyone you want, because I don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
Like,
well, we maybe used like our personalities as like
leverage. Or like protective barrier.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it really was. It's like really performative.
It's still fun, but now it's like not a big thing. It's
No.
like, unless we went to like some sort of debutante ball, no one's going to be shocked by us saying it like it is
Well, I
anymore.
do feel like, I don't know if you get this, but like sometimes I'll be around normal people and they think I'm like a riot. And and that's kind of fun. Like I'll be around normal people and I'm like, wow, you guys are like really getting a kick out of me. Whereas like anytime I'm around like entertainment industry or like comics, everyone's like, can you just be fucking normal? Like stop doing bits.
I feel like, one of my day jobs is for the city, and like a lot of my coworkers are just like so normal.
Yeah.
Like the conversations they have 2 conversations. One is the weather, and it's always a complaint, even if it's the most mild weather. They're like, "Oh my God."
Yeah.
And then the other is like what drinks are new at Starbucks. Like it was like the weather in Starbucks.
Yeah.
And then they would always say like, "Oh, you remind us of Jessie from New Girl."
Okay.
Because like Zooey Deschanel is the only weird person that they'll allow in their life. Like, and it's just like on the cusp of weird.
Yeah.
Like Zooey Deschanel and New Girl is like normal people's
like frame of reference.
Champion weird person.
Do they like you? Like, do they get a kick out of you? Or do you feel like they're just kind of like, we're different people? Or maybe a little of both.
A little of both, I would say. It depends on who we're talking about.
Yeah. I think like, yeah, there is that side of it as well.
I think people trip out that I like don't wear makeup and stuff a lot of the time, or like don't. You know what I mean? Like if you're just so in a normalcy and you don't have your Starbucks and you're not wearing makeup, it's like, whoa, what is she doing?
Well, you're very authentic. You're very yourself in a way that is probably confusing for them.
I did read an article that said that women who are psychopaths have a higher percentage of not wearing makeup.
Wait, that's so funny.
Yeah, it makes sense too.
Explain. Go on.
You're psycho. You don't have time to wear makeup.
No, for sure. But if you're psycho, you're not really. I guess like with the scientific definition of a psychopath, is that someone that doesn't care about what other people think? I forgot the differentiation between a sociopath and a psychopath.
A sociopath is someone who like doesn't feel any shame or like guilt or like, oh, I hurt them. Like, and then a psychopath is just someone who's just like, I'm just totally psycho.
Interesting.
I just I want to put people's body parts in a can.
If you're a woman and you're a psychopath, you probably feel like you're enough.
Yeah.
You probably have like kind of decent self-esteem.
I actually don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either, but like I like the idea of female psychopaths just being like really confident women. Maybe a little paranoid.
It's hard to say. I mean, certain names come up, but I don't know if they're actual psychopaths.
Yeah.
I'm not a doctor. I don't know, but it's like I get something kind of psychopathic from like Martha Stewart.
Yeah, and I think Martha Stewart's self-esteem is pretty fucking good.
Yeah. Okay. But the other one and the other name that came to mind that I'm not sure if fits this
I feel like
is maybe like Tanya Harding.
Oh, interesting. Okay. I thought you were going to say Eileen Warner.
Wait, who's Eileen Warner?
She's maybe I'm getting the last name wrong, but she is the female serial killer. She was like I
don't know much about
sex
killers.
Worker. Okay. She was a sex worker. She killed a bunch of Johns. She was a lesbian. I don't think she was actually a serial killer. I just think she happened to kill a lot of men. Listen, her reasons were not
circumstantial.
They felt more circumstantial.
That's like when someone is like, it's not a female comedian, it's a comedian that happens to be a woman. And this is like not a psychopath, just someone who happens to kill.
Yeah, I don't know if she's a serial. I think,
women who kill.
What's our definition of a serial killer? I think she happened to kill a lot of men that were Johns, but it felt like she had decent reasonings. It seemed like she was triggered. And to me, I don't know where that stands on the serial killer plane, but like, she had some good reasons. And, fuck those dudes. Just kidding. They probably had families. You should be able to have sex for money.
Yeah. But also, like, I feel like in my life, I've always been like, it's always like obviously totally immoral to murder.
Yeah.
But now, we had Luigi,
Luigi's been such an interesting moral talking point.
Yeah.
In my life, at least.
Yeah.
But go on. Like, we have Luigi. So, like, has your stance on murder changed?
I could murder.
Ooh.
No, I don't think I could.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like a tough hurdle to. You're entering a different version of yourself. Like now I've taken a life, and I do have a lot of reverence for life, but it's like, there's some people that it's just like, you're so ruining the world. You gotta go.
Yeah.
We can't have you.
Now, let me ask you this. Do you believe in the death penalty?
No.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I'm with you. But my reasoning, and I don't know, maybe it's not if you put like, my feet to the fire, but my main reasoning for not believing in the death penalty is is that you can never be 100% sure.
Right.
And that the justice system cannot be foolproof. And I don't think that we deserve to take someone's life as punishment in general, but also if we had a more foolproof, which is impossible, justice system, I would be more open to backing it.
Do you want to know why I don't support the death penalty?
Yeah.
Because when Frodo says to Gandalf, like, Bilbo should have killed Gollum when he had the chance. And then Gandalf says, even the wisest of men do not see all ends. Like,
yeah. Valid.
He says, do not be too quick to dole out death and judgment. Like, basically, like, you have no idea what his role is. And in the end, you do need Gollum to destroy the ring. So,
no, honestly, great point. This is a really good example of me making generalized statements that I can't really stand behind if someone presents one argument that shoots through it.
Yeah.
Because yeah, absolutely. That makes perfect sense. I mean, that would, sway me. I think it's hard to reconcile the fact that there are people that I wouldn't mind seeing dead.
I know. I don't know. I don't know what to do with that because I did like seeing. I did like seeing the Luigi thing because it was fun. Like he had Monopoly money in a bag.
Yeah.
He rode on the bullets. And it's like and that same week I got a freaking MRI approved. It was great.
Yeah. No, I mean, I have a hard time reconciling that. And I got into like a debate with my mom's best friend, who's like basically my aunt, who comes from like born again Christian backgrounds, but is a liberal person and like vote, like as far as I'm concerned, I'm pretty sure she votes liberal. She's an artist, etc. But there's still like those black and white hard lines like ingrained in her. And so I was saying, I hope Luigi gets off. Yeah. And she's like, he killed a man.
And I hope I get him off.
Yeah. and I'd like to suck him off. No, and she was like, he killed a man in cold blood. And I was like, yeah, so he deserved it. And I obviously, I don't get to decide who deserved it. I don't fully believe he deserved it.
No, I felt a violent glee within myself.
No, I did too. And I was like, no, I wish he got away with it. And that I do believe. And my reasoning is that like we can't stand behind a justice system that we refuse to address and a system in general that we refuse to address and then try to hold only certain people to those standards. So like if we are going to sentence an innocent black man to death for a crime he didn't do without doing the work to like really like prevent that, then I am not going to feel bad about wanting Luigi, who is guilty of murder, to get away scot-free.
Yeah.
Like I just am not. When people who have done worse get away with it, especially including the CEO.
Right.
So like I don't feel bad about it, but I still like, and so it's like reconciling that with like the fact that like, no, I do not believe in murder. Put that man in front of me, I will not murder him. I just won't. But if somebody else did it, which they did, I was like, put that man on a plane and protect him.
Because it's just nice to have these men in power who don't care if everyone else lives or dies, get a little scared.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I agree. It is like a hard moral, confusing thing. And I went back and forth with her on this because I was like, look, I agree with you. Murder should be illegal.
But
he is guilty. But so is Diddy of some of the things he got off on. So is Trump. Guilty. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
there's an imbalance. It's just such a broken system, such an imbalance of power.
You can't hold a broken system up as being, the way to do things. Unless you're going to actively try to make it as unbroken as possible.
I think that I feel that I'll have a more clarity as I keep growing and get older. Like, I don't know. I give myself some kind of, I'm like, this is where I'm at now. I don't know why. Yeah. But it seems some things seem good to me, some things seem bad to me.
I want someone to tell me something that is gonna fix the part of me that like or like explain or help the part of me where I like don't feel bad that he died.
I don't know. Like, so many people didn't feel bad.
I know. And like, but that isn't the world I want to live in.
Yeah.
So it's confusing. I think that is like, comes back to like what we were originally talking about too, in terms of like the self-reflection. Like I'm definitely going to grow, hopefully.
I'm either going to grow in one way or the other.
Yeah.
I'm going to become...
I'm going to grow or
more
decay.
into murder.
Yeah.
Or Yeah, I'm going to grow or decay. Who knows?
Exactly.
I don't know, but we live in such like a crazy, wild fucking time that it's...
Sure.
The development of ourselves has been an interesting spiritual experience.
It honestly, low-key has been. I mean, like what you said about Frodo, that example of why you don't believe in the death penalty is like also partially why I'm like, look, I don't know what's coming down the pipe. I just need to be able to like be the best version of myself in that moment so that I can be helpful, which ultimately makes selfishly, like that's the thing with like, you know, getting sober and like helping other people. You know, if you're really doing it selflessly, it does make your life better. The key is selflessly, but like it does make your life better. And so sometimes people will be like, oh, that's so nice that you did this thing. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm going to feel better.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's the whole key to everything is it's like, no, like being communal and caring about each other
makes me feel good.
So much better for ourselves.
Yeah. Like, I love it. I love when, like, people, I mean, that's, like, the whole thing with, like, protests at this point. Which, like, again, this is another generalized statement that, you know, shoot me in the street for it. But, like, the No King's Day protest, for example. Like, the purpose of protests initially were to be disruptive and give a voice to in like a democracy to be able to create change, right? To like force the hand. Mm-hmm. At this point, because it's been made clear that no matter what, we will not be listened to unless things are destructive. Something like the No King's Day protest is really about solidarity. It's about community. It's about catharsis. It is also about, you know, making a statement, a stance. But like when a protest is organized and is, you know, quote unquote, protected by police, it's at this point in the way America has proven themselves to be structured, I don't know if you can expect change from it. So that all being said, being in that environment feels good because the whole purpose is about trying to be communal and help other people.
And the more we're around each other and the more we know each other, like, the more possible it is for us to actually figure out something disruptive that could make a difference. I mean, I agree with you. Like, yes, just show up to be around each other. That's freaking everything. To be like, yeah, we're not okay with this and we're all together on this. But also, like, the way the police or the fucking military that came here acted shows me that it does disrupt, because why else would they push against it so hard?
Yeah. I guess I was like, it just seems antagonistic. Feels like a fucking game.
Yeah.
I don't even think they give a shit. I feel like they would have done it even if we didn't. They were like, haha, bitch. Like, I don't think they felt threatened as much as they were like, let's just squash you guys like a bug.
Not necessarily threatened, but like when I think about all the college protests that Trump was like, oh, you got to get these college kids under
That's true.
control.
The college protests, though, that's hitting capitalism. Like that's hitting like a main source of like a part of the economy that's pretty heavy, in my opinion.
I mean, I think like protests that are like designed to stop all ICE. Like,
oh yeah, the ICE protests different. No Kings, I guess. Like,
No Kings is whatever.
No Kings was more like, I mean, the ICE protests were disruptive. That's like they fucked up traffic. Like They disrupted people's days. Like I'm not condoning violence, but it was disruptive.
Right.
And that served a purpose. The reaction to ICE, and then yes, them bringing out the military. But like, I guess I'm thinking just like in terms of like the whole organized No Kings protest, or like
Sure.
some of the more like, really this is about community.
Yeah.
Like I went and I was there and I was like, this is great. And then I was like, time to leave.
Yeah, same.
I was like, what am I supposed to do here? Like,
Yeah.
I listened to the speaker. I'm seeing everybody. I feel fucking great
Yeah.
that all these people give a shit. I hope they all voted.
Yeah.
I hope they continue to vote. And I guess I'm going to go home now.
Yeah.
You know? Whereas, like, during Black Lives Matter, I was like, no, I'll be out here all day.
Right.
Go fuck yourself. Like,
Yeah.
if you're going to show up with tanks.
Yeah. Like fucking psychos.
Yeah, exactly. But, you know, we don't live in a perfect world. Not everybody can behave the way that, like, we think that they should. And I personally don't have the training or structure or knowledge to be able to differentiate what the correct behavior of other people or myself is.
I don't know. I think I could rule.
You think?
No.
I would love that.
No. I really don't.
Jessica Seeley
I'm not qualified.
for president
Wow.
of AA. No,
That's actually sort of why I started this podcast, is I'm sort of like early platforming myself.
You're soft
to,
launching?
like, yeah. Very soft.
you're like gentle launching.
Very soft launch.
I like it.
We've got a long way to go. Oh my God, I would hate.
And in the comments, leave your opinion.
Exactly. Well, I kind of we have to wrap it up now,
Yeah.
and let the dearest listeners get on with their lives. They're actually held hostage. I put a spell on the podcast that when they start listening, they can't stop.
Oh my God, that's
Until
a
the
smart
very
idea.
end. Thanks so much. Yeah. You kind of have to get into some kind of witchcraft if you're going to podcast. Yeah. Because otherwise people will just turn it off.
No, for sure. But you nailed it.
But yeah, I lock them in.
Yeah.
So, but now I'm going to in them because I'm a benevolent leader.
Great.
But do you have any final thoughts? 22 years sober.
Yeah.
Living in a chaotic time, but with some recovery.
Yeah. I mean, not to be like morose, but like if I'm going to be here and I'm going to be sober, I'd like to do some good, you know? I'd like to, otherwise, like, what am I doing? Go live in a cave.
Right.
Like, if I'm going to have to participate in society, I would like to do good in it.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. So I guess that's my
Fuck
takeaway.
it.
Yeah. So like I got to stay sober to do that. Otherwise, we don't want to see 37-year-old high school Lindsay drunk on the side of the road.
I would still love you.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Of course.
I'd probably die, but anyway. Final thoughts. Get sober, stay sober.
Yeah, I'm a teetotaler. I've been watching The Gilded Age, and I'm like, yep.
Oh my God, yeah. Yeah.
Teetotaler movement. Do you have any things that you want people to look at or follow, or
just follow me on Instagram? You don't have to do anything else. I just appreciate your support and look out for upcoming shows.
Yeah, please go. So much fun. Thank you, Lindsay, for doing and being on Some Timeline with us.
Okay, love you. Bye.
Thank you for joining us on Some Timeline. Don't forget to email us your thoughts, questions, songs, whatever, at sometimelinepod@gmail.com, or leave us a voicemail at 747-666-7005. Thanks to our sound producer, Seth Hover, our musical composer, Jeff Traeger, our podcast artist, AJ Howard, And I'll see you next time on the next part of Some Timeline.